am floating, floating out to sea. Yeah, contrary to popularly, I ain't invincible, not even close. I'm just a little girl, a failure to most.
So I'm first starting with the color MFEO on my Sigma E40 tapered blending brush, and I'm just putting this in the crease as a transition. And then I'm going to take the shade Pooter, and I'm going to put that a little bit lower into the crease. Right now I'm just creating a transition, and I'm deepening it up as I go along using the same brush. And then I'm going to grab the shade Mocha, which is a nice warm tone brown, and I'm putting that just a little bit lower, but blending it into MFEO and Pooter, just deepening up the crease, you know. And then I'm going to take the shade Central Park, and I'm going to take it on a little more of a precise brush, really deepening in that crease, keeping it pretty low. Don't want to go too high. Don't want the dark brown to take over the entire look. And then I'm going to grab the shade Soda Pop, and I'm going to take that on a little brush as well. Oh, look at her. She's so cute. And I'm really deepening up the crease. You just build a transition right now. Then I'm going to take my Sigma E40 again, blend all of those shades together so they melt well and they look like one cohesive shade. Then I'm going to take a little bit of Soda Pop and Central Park mixed on my Sigma pointed blending brush. I don't know, I'll link it below. And I'm just deepening up that outer corner. And then I am winging these shadows outwards, kind of like I did in my fortune teller tutorial. I like the winged shape of eyeshadow. Then I'm going to grab some concealer. This is just the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. I like using a little more of a dry formula for cutting creases. And then I'm going to pack the color Hunts on my lid, which was so dope. I don't know how I've never thought of just using this as a matte lid shade. It is so cool, especially for Halloween looks. And then I just blend Hunts and the outer corner color together. I'm using a little more of a precise brush to like get right up in that crease. I like really precise cut creases. And then I take my brush again and I'm blending those two colors together to look like a faded cut creasy action. You know what I mean? Then I'm going to grab a little bit of my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk and my MBA Cosmetics Glitter in Marigold. I'm going to pop that on the inner corners. In person, it looked better than it does on camera. It looks a little pink on camera, but it was not pink. And then I'm going to work on the lower lash line, literally just using MFEO, Pooter, Mocha, and Soda Pop on my lower lash line. That's pretty much what I'm doing. And that's it for the eyeshadow portion. Then I'm going to grab my Wet n Wild paint palette in neutrals, and I'm going to start with that light brown shade to kind of create a shadow, and I'm using a small little liner brush, and I'm just dotting in a zigzag formation over my eyebrow to make shadows for where the stitches are going to lay. You know what I mean? And then I'm grabbing a little bit of a bigger, fluffier brush, and I'm kind of blending those out to create a shadowed effect. And then I just ran over that first shade with my finger to make sure there was no excess product anywhere. And then I took a little bit of the red from the Neutrals Paint Palette by Wet n Wild, and I started making little dots for the wound type portion, but I realized I needed a little more of a shadow, so I kind of like go back and forth with the colors. I just dotted them over where I put the brown, and then I took a little bit of a bigger brush and I blended them out a little bit to kind of make like an irritated, sore look to them, you know what I mean? Then I took a little bit of this brown shade because the red was looking a little pink. It's like a really deep, like if you blend it out, it's like a deep magenta burgundy shade, but I need it to be like a brownish red blood shade, you know what I mean? So I also took a little bit of that lighter brown, and with that blending brush that I keep using, I think it's I don't know, I'll link it below. It's some kind of blending brush, and I just kind of smudged those out to create some more depth. Depth is gonna make anything look realistic. Depth will set you free. Just kidding. And then I put more of that red shade in the very center to give it a real woundy feel, like it's just fresh, ripped open and sewn shut. That was really gross. I also grabbed a little bit of the black paint pot and I put it in the very, very center, just a teeny tiny amount to give it some more depth. Then I took this black thread that I got at like the dollar store or something and some lash glue, and I first dotted over the wounds with the lash glue. I just did 2 at a time, and then I would very carefully cut a tiny piece of thread and put it stick it down in one spot and then drag it up to the other. I did it first. I took a really long piece and then cut it after. But once I knew how long to make the pieces, it was pretty much, you just kind of measure it by eye, and if it's too long, you just take it out, cut it a little bit more to fit your eyebrow, and stick it down. It's pretty simple, I'm not gonna lie. I reinforced the thread and put lash glue on top of them when I had them laid down just to make sure they didn't go anywhere, and they stayed pretty well. I wore this look all day and they did not move. Then I took the NYX Slip Tease. It's like a matte liquid lipstick, but it's kind of like a satiny in the shade Beyond Basic, and fixed my hair and stuff, and that is the finished look. I hope you guys found this helpful if you're doing a sewn look. It was actually pretty simple. All you got to do is take the time to do it, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.